Season 4 of CS2 has started, and although they class it as a small update, there are so many small updates to cover, I think it's rather interesting. This might just be because we've had literally nothing of interest to cover in months, but I do think there's something here for everyone. But not cash. Valve claims that map is still cooking. This update of minus Train and plus Anubis is about the safest premier map pool change they could have made, given that Anubis was only just removed for Season 3 and Train had only just been added for Season 2. So yeah, Anubis again. Great map, lovely if overused deserty theme, but it's hardly something new. Or is it? Because it has had some updates. You know this drop down to water, the one you could use as terrorists to take B by surprise? It's gone. And it's been replaced with this hole in the wall just around the corner, making a mid-B rush by Ts take slightly longer and be quite a bit more risky. And these double doors have been reversed to allow CTs a good view towards the bridge from inside of middle. This new drop-down placement makes it easier for CTs to utilise it for an early mid-rush. It also allows for a boost from water back into the bridge area, and a sneaky little sightline here, if you stood on someone's head, which lets you see straight through into middle. Interesting. At the back of bombsite B, there's this new hole in the wall. It's not accessible, but it allows for grenades to be thrown either way, which should mix things up on this site. Bombsite A hasn't been left out either. Some poor person had to shift this crate onto the upper platform, which removes some of the cover from the site itself, but does provide people up here some extra valuable cover. And because it's all at an off angle, weapons like the AK and M4 will be able to bang through the edges of it, while weapons like the AWP will be able to penetrate all the way through it from all angles. And some bangable cover has been added here, which slightly obstructs the sightline between heaven and walkway, and this little platform up here might allow for new grenade bounces of some sort. A bunch of new community maps have been introduced, and the old ones removed. I was going to save all this for another video, but I think these 5 new maps deserve a quick flyby, because the standard of these community efforts is incredible. No, we don't have cash, and we lose Agency, a fan favourite hostage mode map. But in its place we get another map set in San Francisco called Warden, or as the blog post says, Warren. Admittedly this D could look like a crushed down R, but Valve, please fix. This map is based on Alcatraz, but to me it has Cache or Half-Life 2 Nova Prospect or the hospital bit vibes. It is an absolute masterpiece of a bombsite map to look at, but yes, to judge its gameplay will take a bit more time than I have here. Stronghold is the monkey map. Yep, a bunch of monkeys dotted about which will walk around once the round starts playing. It goes without saying that this map is also beautiful, containing all of my favourite elements: mountains, castles, distant views and sun. It feels rather open, but there are a few tunnels and caves connecting it all together. Honestly, seeing these maps, I wonder if they do help take the sting out of Cache not being featured. Alpine introduces some much needed snow to the map pool, although again it's for hostage mode. And I don't think I've ever seen better looking mountains in a Counter-Strike map, or indeed, bolder use of cube map based reflections all over the place. Half of this map is out in the freezing cold and bubbling pools, and the other half in grand rooms and hallways. And seriously, it's another absolute work of art. It shows that the graphical standard for maps in Counter-Strike is always increasing. I'd like to get into mapping again, but I look at this and I think, I'd never be able to make this. I mean, these are worth your time simply to go sightseeing. And for Wingman we get 2 new maps. Poseidon is a deceptively simple looking seaside pool map featuring lots of cramped, narrow corridors and a super large, open, vulnerable feeling area out the front, which is, of course, where the bomb site is located. And Sanctum is Aztec on steroids. Or ancient on steroids. Look, there's even a volcano over there! I don't think I've ever seen such a detailed skybox. It just seems to go on and on forever. The level itself is beautiful too, with each area being breathtaking in a different kind of way. Shout out to this mural here, which looks oddly familiar. Really, I need to start paying more attention to these community-made maps. They are so imaginative and beautiful. It seems these days that games only release with a handful of maps and play it so safe and they're so grounded. So Counter-Strike is truly blessed with a really talented mapping community. I know everybody's quick to dismiss these community efforts and to return to Dust 2 again, but please give them a look. Give these maps a chance. There have been some buffs to the SMGs. The PP Bison, MP5 and MP7 have all been made $100 cheaper. It's not like any of them were particularly expensive in the first place, but this now means that all SMGs, apart from the P90, are attainable if you have just $1,400 spare. And to make them even more appealing, the MP5 and MP7 have been given a slight damage buff and less damage fall off over range, slightly closing the gap between these guns and proper rifles. but not by much. Sloth Squadron has already chimed in with an analysis of these guns, stating that apart from the magazine size, the PP Bison probably needs more of a buff to be appealing over alternatives like, say, the MP7. You can see from the weapon balance spreadsheet that these changes now make the MP7's base damage the same as the FAMAS, Galil and SG553. But don't get too excited since the armor penetration of the SMGs is still lower, the accuracy significantly worse, and the damage fall off, although improved, is still in a completely different and inferior league to the proper rifles. Jumping has received some changes too. Crucially, multiple jumps in a row won't result in lower jump height, and it now all abides with sub-tick precision. And despite multiple jump attempts in quick succession apparently being penalised, which you'd think would affect scroll wheel users, rip Frankie on PC skills, despite using the scroll wheel myself to jump, I actually found it easier to string together multiple bunny hops. But looking on the forums, a lot of the community deems it to feel heavier now, so your mileage may vary, literally. Luckily, it shouldn't break stuff since private servers can enable SV Legacy Jump if they want to return to how it was before. Rejoice! Surf has hopefully been improved where you should no longer collide with internal edges, so you shouldn't just abruptly stop halfway through a surf and slide off. Valve continues to roll out new sound effects to the game. This time it's for the knife. These new sound effects have been met to mixed reactions online, with some people likening it to a sword, and they've changed the knife impact sounds as well. And has different sound effects based on the amount of damage dealt and where to the person they hit. And quickly scrolling through all your weapons will now only play one sound at a time. We get two new collections of skins. The Harlequin contains some of the most colourful and vivid skins known to man, and the Achroma is the opposite, containing very little colour whatsoever, which, in a Teletubby world full of cartoony aesthetics, I think it makes it stand out even more. There's the new AK-47 Aphrodite, which had better live up to its name because it's going to cost you 125 stars, or 4 passes, or like $60 to get. People are rather upset about this, but looking at the amount of the blog post Valve spends talking about skins, they seem rather happy with the whole situation. I was personally excited about the increased material fidelity on some of the base guns, which I thought would mean higher res materials or more convincing textures, and it was so subtle I didn't actually think there was any difference between the two, until I flicked between them like this, where it seems like there is more depth to the details. It's hard to put my finger on what exactly has changed with the AK, but you can see it already looked extremely detailed before, and stuff has merely shifted about ever so slightly after this update. The Bison, though, appears to have become far shinier, like all over. But I'd like to do further testing with this at some point, just to make sure, because I have been burned by incorrect cube maps loading before. But assuming it isn't just weird cube maps doing weird stuff, the Mac 10, although at first glance looking identical, definitely has more defined reflections on this metal connector thing here. Looks like one of those PBR material showcases with adjustable gloss, doesn't it? A feature that was kind of added a while ago and then forgotten about was the map guides, which now have become a lot more handy because while playing in more casual game modes, you can load them up, and they'll teach you some setup grenade throws that you can then practice in game, which will no doubt raise the skill level seen across CS2's servers. We even get optimizations. Improved the resolution of the PVS for some static level geometry just means that when checking to see if something should be rendered, it should be better able to hide stuff that shouldn't be seen from a particular spot. So that's some optimization for you. So honestly, I think there's a lot to this new update. Most of it is hard to cover in simple before and afters, and I suspect the community will point out any new bugs and unforeseen quirks with these changes over time. And I think everybody will feel blue-balled that we still haven't seen the Source 2 version of Cash. It's now been 8 months since Valve bought it from FM Pone. Maybe for Season 5.